I am more than pleased that I have learned more than I expected.
I'm very happy about all the inputs I'm getting here, and I think they will be very useful in my future career and future decision as a judge. So thank you to Max Planck for having me here.
Me está resultando, la verdad, muy enriquecedora la experiencia, contrastar otros puntos de vista. Estoy absolutamente asombrada del nivel de compromiso. Creo que deberíamos incluso tener formación específica para seguir mejorando la calidad de nuestro trabajo.
Hello, I am Artur Dorzinkiewicz.
My name is Dil Duval.
Soy Lucía Legido Gil.
My name is Jaroslav Vavra.
I'm Elsa Vergede.
And I'm Paula Lobo.
Enrico Cinella della Porta. I'm a public prosecutor from Italy.
I'm coming from the Czech Republic. I'm a judge for 15 years.
I come from Lithuania. I am a case law consultant.
I'm a judge in Portugal in Supreme Court of Justice.
Trabajo como juez de primera instancia en un juzgado civil generalista en Madrid.
I'm a public prosecutor at the Court of Appeal at Antwerp in Belgium.
I'm a public prosecutor in Portugal.
Why judges here at our Department of Law and Anthropology? And this brings me to a bit of a broader picture. My name is Marie-Claire Faublets, and I am in charge. This means I'm responsible for the Department of Law and Anthropology within the framework of the Max Planck Institute for Social Anthropology here in Halle, in Germany. The department is really dealing with questions that two disciplines who rarely really have a communication with each other deal. Shared interest in issues that are mainly issues of contemporary societies, namely the question, how do we deal with cultural diversity, and in this case, in law. Cultural diversity is the field of research of social and cultural anthropologists. Try to understand different ways human societies think of themselves, organize themselves, think of surviving themselves, coping with sometimes extremely challenging situations, basically how they remain societies under a complexity of situations, changing circumstances. Law, as is probably better known, is the discipline that tries to answer the question of social order, sustainability, normativity in societies. And every single society has its own legal system. And the question now, in a contemporary era like ours, is what happens when different ways of thinking about what is law come in one and the same context, namely the plural societies. And we have become and are still becoming ever more plural. And when we think of we're really focusing on Europe. And this brings us to the judges. Judges are facing on a daily basis these questions of diverging normativities. People looking at one and the same situation, thinking differently of the solution. And the judge, he has to come up with a solution. Where does he find a kind of inspiration? Where does he draw his inspiration? Is he looking for other countries to find solutions? Does he find solutions in his own legal system? He's facing a lack of knowledge sometimes of the cultural context. And this is what in this week, these weeks, because we are organizing a week around each year, annual rhythm, how these judges then find each other in the framework of such week to deal with these issues and to exchange among them about their hesitations, but also about what they think is a creative solution for some issues. And anthropologists are around and are there to listen to the judges, to their questions, because anthropologists are knowledgeable of some of these backgrounds. And then in the training, we take the time to listen to anthropologists, who listen to the judges, and then we grow closer, which does not mean that when we, at the end of the training, the judges return home, they are becoming more anthropologists and anthropologists are becoming more lawyers, but we took the time to listen to each other. This is basically the framework for this program.
My name is Sofina Queira. I am a senior research fellow in the Department of Law and Anthropology.
My name is Kadir Eryilmaz, and I'm from Turkey. I'm a PhD student in Law and Anthropology department.
I'm Jenske Verhellen. I'm professor of law at the Faculty of Law at Ghent University.
My name is Denise Venturi, and I'm currently a PhD researcher at the Catholic University of Leuven.
I've always been someone who tried to bring the legal field and all the legal challenges to practice, because I really think it's very important to be connected with practitioners, and in this case, judges. As legal scholars, we sometimes think that we have the answer, and then when you go in dialogue with people from practice, you see that they have to do a daily balancing exercise and taking all the circumstances of a case into account. And I think that's, it's very rich, but I think for both sides, for us and for practitioners.
The challenge I face in presenting my work to an audience of practitioners is to convince them to see how migrants' activities, whether they are illegal or informal, are caused by the policies from the global north. So usually practitioners focus on the illegalities or informalities without realizing that this is how people try to survive in the context that they've been put in.
This type of work is important for people, for the families and individuals involved in those cross-border relationships. So I think whether you are an academic or a practitioner, that's the focus. We have the same focus, trying to find the best solutions for people who are involved in all the issues we talked about during the week.
The European Judicial Training Network brings together all the judicial training schools in the EU and also some from outside the EU. The aim of the network is to promote a training program with a truly European dimension for the European judiciary. Through the training activities developed by EJTN in close partnership with the Max Planck Institute, EU judges and prosecutors are exposed to social and cultural anthropology concepts and get a different perspective on some of the issues they deal with on a daily basis. They are given the opportunity to compare perspectives on how to address cultural and religious diversities in the courtroom. They can also better understand it and reflect on their own practice in light of social anthropology research.
Each year, we select a specific topic for the study visit with the aim to bring together, on the one hand, questions that are of direct practical relevance to judges and prosecutors, with, on the other hand, findings, debates, and issues from current anthropological research. Hello, my name is Larissa Vetters. I'm an anthropologist and a researcher in the Department Law and Anthropology. And together with my former colleague Alice Magaria, I've been involved in the organization of the study visit for the past years. This year, we have chosen to focus on legal identity and personal status under conditions of diversity and transborder mobility. During the study visit, we explore together with the participating judges and the anthropologists and researchers from our department different aspects of anthropology. We also explore how and whether in-depth ethnographic findings about the lived realities, the aspirations and the encounters with law that migrants face in their daily lives can help judges to better understand and better assess the legal claims that they raise in their courts. In this way, we combine in each study visit anthropological concepts and findings with questions that are of relevance to the participants.
The core exercise of the judicial study visit is what we call the rethinking judgment exercise. My name is Alicia Margaria. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Zurich at the Faculty of Law and the research partner at the Max Planck Institute for Social Anthropology, Department of Law and Anthropology, directed by Professor Voblets. We draw inspiration from the many academic projects on rewriting judgments that have been developed over the last years in many fields of law. And we ask participants of the judicial study visit to submit a case concerning diversity in the courtroom before the beginning of the visit.
I came here with the judgment concerning surrogacy. One of the parents was a Czech national, and it is surrogacy is some kind of concept which is not widely discussed in the Czech Republic. This surrogate parenthood was started in US, in California, and the parents came to the Czech Republic and wanted to have some kind of birth certificate for the baby. And I think that the Czech law is not much prepared for that, how to deal with the case. And the specialty on this case was that these were two men who had a baby.
My decision I brought with is a little bit special. A girl of 14 years old who had been acknowledged by a Belgian father was born from a Macedonian mother. And by this way, she became Belgian nationality. But some years later, it came out that it was a falsification, that the Belgian father wasn't the father. And the criminal court decided that the Belgian nationality of the child was illegal and should be nullified. The child has four siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, who have the Macedonian nationality. The whole family depended on that Belgian nationality for their residence in the country. So it was for them very important. And they started a procedure before the family court in Belgium, trying to get back that Belgian nationality of their daughter. And now, against this decision, the public prosecutor had a signed appeal because the first judge decided that taking away the Belgian nationality was kind of a disproportional measure. And this case will be at my desk now at the degree of the Court of Appeal.
During the visit, judges and prosecutors are asked to rethink their judgment. We help them by providing them with different kinds of input. For instance, they are exposed to many academic presentations that are given by members of the department who share findings of their ethnographic research on topics that are related to the theme of the study visit. And other ways for judges and prosecutors to be helped in their rethinking judgment exercise is to engage in one-to-one conversations with members of the department who have an expertise on the topic that is at the core of their case or are very familiar with the legal system at stake. One of the important theoretical underpinnings of this exercise is that doing justice is not just a matter of outcomes, but it's also a matter of processes, of how the reasoning is framed in order to include, to incorporate, and to take into consideration the experiences, the perceptions, and the narratives of those involved in the case. If the original judgment is considered by the participant to be sensitive to diversity, we ask them to share passages of the original judgment and ask them to translate it into English. If the participant is unhappy with the way diversity has been addressed in the text of the original judgment, they're invited to add pieces of text, or they're invited to rewrite pieces of the judgment to make them more sensitive to diversity.
The Max Planck Institute is a leading center for research in sociocultural anthropology. It offers a forum allowing EJTN's legal practitioners to engage with anthropologists conducting research on cultural diversity in the courtroom. These trainings are a unique opportunity for judges and prosecutors to exchange on cultural diversity in relation to judicial practice. This creates a discussion not only between them, but also with social anthropology academics. The rewriting and rethinking judgment exercise is a unique, innovative approach. It allows judges and prosecutors to see cultural diversity in the courtroom from a different perspective. They also learn how to take into account and how to incorporate it in their decisions.
We are not also the people who give an answer to the judge. There are no clear-cut answers. All these situations that we come across in Europe are so much a characteristic of our contemporary societies that we think it might be an opportunity for judges to step aside, take the time, listen to scientists and can raise their questions to them. We don't have the answers, but we felt we could really discuss the questions we have about possible answers. And so we go along with each other and we think together, similar cases, similar issues, but through different lenses.